That means my mic's on.
Easter dinner, so I need you to.
Oh, yes, okay.
Since it's only 2 weeks away.
No, it's 3.
3 weeks away. Okay.
Yeah, 17, 24, 31st. Yeah.
Well, whatever it is.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you're saying now.
I know it's coming up soon. And I
So you'll have Easter right after church. All right, that's good.
And Bev Jacobs, she hasn't been here.
Oh, Jamie told me last week and I forgot to go see her, call her RSV,
Well, Jamie.
but didn't know. I'm sorry.
Iron,
Yeah.
yeah, she asked me, she says, is Bev in the hospital? And I'm like, the pastor didn't announce it?
No, I didn't know. Yeah.
Was she in the hospital?
I don't know.
What happened to her? She had RSV, I guess. Well, Jamie knew that Linda Harris was in the hospital.
Right.
Play cards together.
Right. Yeah, no one was here playing on Tuesday. No one playing cards Tuesday because I had to come back early for the blood drive and there wasn't anybody in here. Yeah. All right, you guys ready? We're starting. Now we're going to wait for Tom to sit down now. I know. No, I think because I'm going to remember to pray this time. Although now we got to wait for who's walking in now. I see if people show up on time. I tell you, there's like once or twice every Lenten and Advent season, a non-communion, I get here on time. Almost on. I got here at 9:33. Almost on time. And so this is it. Maybe in 2 more weeks on Palm Sunday, because we still don't sing the Glory in Excelsis, I might be back on time. So early. So in 2 weeks, try to be here a little bit early, potentially. All right, let's go ahead and pray, though. We're going to pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we are grateful for the opportunity you give us to be in your house and especially now to hear your word and to receive your blessing. Guide us now by your Spirit. Open our hearts and minds to understand your word and to understand it fully so that we can also be able to apply it into our lives. Through Jesus, we ask this. Amen. Okay, that's where we're at, 27:4. We're flying through these now. I was looking at my commentary, and we only have 120 pages left of my commentary, then we're done. All right? And with that part, okay? And I'm at page 529, so we're getting along pretty fast. Now, all right, so this first one is kind of like the end of a section, then I'll explain what that means after I get done with it. Anger is cruel and fury overwhelming, but who can stand before jealousy? Okay, how's that true? Do you understand what it means, first of all?
What verse are you in?
4, chapter 27. What was your first word?
How is that true? Or do you understand what the Proverbs say? Anger is cruel and fury overwhelming, but who can stand before jealousy? See, it's always setting you up. The first line is setting you up for the second line. How is jealousy worse than anger and fury? Yes, and they are relentless. Jealousy is relentless. Anger and fury is usually just initial. That's what.
Jealousy can be unknown.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, and actually, right, when you think about it, jealousy, as far as reacting on it, can be premeditated. You're planning things out. Anger and fury is just initial reaction. So it's not a premeditated thing. You're just overwhelmed with something. It may be, and he does say it is cruel and it is overwhelming. So if that's really bad, well, jealousy is even worse. So don't get someone jealous, because then they will be relentless in their pursuit of you. Okay. Well, you're right. Some ways you can. Yeah. Right. The typical jealousy is stealing someone else's spouse. Okay, but that's that jealousy. The other jealousy is just you excel in something and the other person wants your position or something like that, your favor or honor. But so I don't know. It might be referring though primarily to the jealousy of taking someone else's spouse, or girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, kind of. Jealous of God, yeah. For his wife.
For knowledge and everything.
Yeah, right.
You like God and you're jealous.
Yeah, right. But I thought you were saying, why did Satan fall? Because Satan fell because he's jealous of Adam and Eve. Yeah, right. Then, yeah, that's good. Right, yeah. And so you can see how it drives a person. Right. All right. So that was. Now we'll move on to the next section, and the reason why I calling it the next section is because the commentator says this, and here's why. Up to this point in chapter 28, verse 20, chapter 25, verse 28 through where we just left, it had many references to fools. Now you're going to notice in the next, from here through verse 22, fools are never mentioned. Okay, so it's not contrasting the foolish and the wise now. So this isn't going to be looking at that. Okay, this is really going to be very constructive for us in what's going on here. Now, he does point out something. I won't go into all the fine details that he emphasizes. In fact, I don't even have them highlighted, so I don't even know what they were anymore. But he does say this section, and this becomes your challenge. This section, which is verses 5 through 22, contains the greatest concentration of enigmatic sayings in the entire book. I had to look it up. It means mysterious. It means mysterious. Enigmatic means mysterious. See, the commentators like to use words that most people don't use very often, and so I don't either anymore since I'm at 6th grade education now, vocabulary. So I have to look them up too. So it means mysterious. And now what he's saying says you'll be able to read it, but to be able to truly understand it is not always easy. Okay, that's what he means by enigmatic. You can hear it, and that's why because I'd already done this before. So a sermon a while back, I mentioned Jesus having so many enigmatic statements, and I always said mysterious, and that's true. Jesus says things. It's like, well, yeah, I hear your words, but what do you really mean? Okay. State of the Union. All right. I didn't watch that, so yeah. State of the okay. But now that's not really enigmatic, right? Okay, that means you're really thinking at a level that's way up there. Okay, maybe that is it, right? And that's what it is with Jesus, and now with Solomon. All right, so let's just go through these. All right, it doesn't mean they're all going to be hard. Just let you know they're there. Better is open rebuke than hidden love. Actually, this one and the next one will play off of this one. Okay, better is open rebuke than hidden love. All right, you guys got it figured out?
Yeah.
It's not hard. This one's actually not hard. How's it figured out?
Because a well-meant comment, constructive comment, is better than withholding it because you think that that's better for the person, and you think that you love him to the point that you're not going to say anything.
So you allow.
You don't want to take a chance on hurting his feelings.
Right. So you allow them to do what?
You allow them to
Continue.
do whatever sin or whatever.
Yeah. Right. Continue in whatever they're doing wrong because you don't want to hurt their feelings. You don't want to rebuke them openly because you're afraid it might damage your relationship with them or they'll take it the wrong way or whatever. And you'd rather, my line is this, you'd rather hold their hand all the way to hell than tell them they're going to hell. Right? And then when they die and go to hell, it's like, well, I'm sorry. So, of course, you're saying, well, they really didn't. You kind of rationalize it in your own head. They didn't really go to hell because no one really does.
You become an enabler.
Yes.
In today's terminology.
Yes.
And enabling can be very destructive from anything from enabling drug use to.
Yes. Yeah. Right. So enabling in a lot of different ways, and without open rebuke, there's no discipline there, and no correction, and so if children don't get that young, in the right way, they'll go the wrong way too.
You have to be willing to take the chance that, they may hate you for a while.
Right. Actually, he has that comment in here. It says, open correction is more loving and helpful, even if the person being corrected does not immediately perceive it as flowing from love.
And it may not be perceived
It may not. Or it may not be until 20 years later when they go from this part of life to this part of life. Yeah, right. Exactly. So what's the solution, what this proverb's saying? Rebuke anyway. What should we be doing then? In other words, be honest and openly rebuke. But now, as Scripture says, speak the truth in love. I mean, you got to know how to do it, because the next one's going to kind of highlight that. You got to know how to do it. In other words, you got to check your own motive, your own heart, to say, am I doing this because I'm really mad at this person? And I just want to really give them a zinger like that? Or am I doing it because I'm really concerned about that person? And I really want what's best for that person, and it's not about me. And then you start with the right motivation, in other words, and then you approach it.
Speaking from personal experience, if you withhold, a lot of times if you withhold your rebukes, it eats on you.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
And it can actually cause you to hate that person.
Yeah.
And by the
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
by the time you get around to rebuking him, you're not doing it out of love.
You're not doing love, no, and you're pretty short fused. Yeah. Yeah. You're exactly right, because I know that when there's members that should be rebuked at times because they're being lazy or whatever about their faith and attendance and all that, you just let it go, and you just burn inside. All right, it's like, we should say something about them and this and that to them, not about them. To them, I mean, not about them at all, but to them, and you just don't, and then it just eats at you. You're right. So you should deal with it. Right. Now, the next one will pertain to this also. Wounds from a friend can be trusted, but an enemy multiplies kisses.
We had one like this a while back.
We kind of did, and the clear reference to wounds, enemy multiplies kisses is Judas. For us, it's Judas. And in fact, get that. What did Jesus say to Judas? I mean, we all know about Judas' kiss, but do you remember what Jesus said when Judas came to kiss him, to betray him? Do you betray? No, and actually, what was the first word Jesus said? Friend. The first word is friend, but then the other part, but the key, friend, do you betray me with the kiss? In other words, it says, I know what you're doing here, okay? And you're actually doing this way. You're actually acting like a friend. Because you would if you're going to give me that kind of a kiss. It's a friendly kiss, of course, okay? You're actually acting that way. And yet, look at your heart. Look at what you're really doing, okay? So, so the idea about enemy multiplies kisses, that's the kind where the enemy will pretend or feign, put on this phony, false exterior like they care about you. Yeah. To your face, and then they stab you. You turn around, and they stab you in the back. Yeah, all right. That's that. So that's the negative part. What's the positive? Wounds from a friend can be trusted. This is basically what we just said. What?
They're going to shoot true. They're going to tell you.
Yeah. And it's like an open rebuke. It's like the previous proverb, because it comes from a friend. And so, in this case, would be it's coming from a friend. And so when a friend rebukes you, and again, you speak the truth in love, you can depend upon that rebuke. And it came from a sincere intention for your well-being. All right. So and this, to me, this is kind of like the other end, and it may be both ways, but verse 5 to me is like, are you the one who gives the open rebuke? And then verse 6, are you the one who will receive a wound from a friend? See what I'm saying?
Basically, it's saying give it in love and receive it.
Yes, that's what I'm getting at, yeah. Make sure when someone does rebuke you or when someone does wound you like this, you receive it that way. And instead of reacting, getting violent and angry about it, and say, how can you say that to me in this way and walk away, that kind of stuff. No, receive it. Now, it probably will hurt initially, but at least think about it. Don't react strongly when someone does something like that. Said, I'll take that to heart, and I'll think about it. Okay, and then go from there. Okay, but to me, what always helps is just know the bottom line is that this is a friend, and my friend is not trying to hurt me. It hurts what you just said, but I know you're not trying to hurt me. Okay? And that helps because then you will be able to process it better, I think, when you hear it that way. If it comes from an enemy, you just assume they're trying to get you. But if it's coming from a friend, you tell yourself, this is coming from someone who cares about me. Okay, I don't like what that person said, but I know that person will stand behind me and support me, and so I'll listen to it more clearly. Okay. All right. Here we go, more honey statements. All right. He who is full loathes honey, but to the hungry even what is bitter tastes sweet. It's not talking about appetite. What is an appetite? Not a physical appetite.
To me, it came of knowledge. In other words, the man that refuses, the full-fed man that refuses honey is one that thinks he knows it all and that he's satisfied with what he knows.
That's definitely part of it.
A person that is hungry is one that is willing to take advice.
Yeah, yeah. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, right? So there's that. In the spiritual aspect, that is definitely true. Never be content, satisfied with what you know spiritually. You'll never, ever come close to knowing what needs to be, all that needs to be known.
Application on just in your day-to-day living as far as
Oh,
profession.
yes.
How many people do we know that think they know it all and that they have no need to learn anymore?
Right, right.
And yet the wise professional realizes there's a lot to learn. And
Yeah.
you can learn from a lot of different.
You can learn a lot. You learn a whole lot more. Exactly. That's so true. That's so true. Now, other ways of looking at this, and actually this was, I remember someone else said this, the greatest danger we face in America nowadays as Americans is that we have too much. And the greatest threat to faith is we're bored. Okay? Or even to America as a nation, we're bored. You got so much pleasure. We have so much pleasure, we get bored by it. You know, you can just play video games for just so long, and it's like, well, I'm kind of getting tired of that. Find something else. And there's no drive to improve yourself because we already are pretty much pretty good. I mean, the Great Depression era is over, and we got plenty of welfare people just receive what they want, so they don't have the Great Depression, have to work for it. You just give it to them. And so there's no desire, drive to improve yourself. But now, if you take it also more into the spiritual manner, this is why, and you all know this, I'll throw it out, I'll say it again, because I over the years said this many times. Who are the hardest ones to get back into church? The ones who are upper middle class doing just great and everything's going fine, or the ones who are really struggling with life? No, they're the hard ones to get back, exactly. They're the hard ones, because it's like, why do I need this? I'm okay. I forgot how I asked the question. I forgot how I asked the question. So you're exactly right. So it's like, I'm doing okay. Well, I mean, I got my 401k. I'm all set for retirement. I got everything ready to go, and I got a good job, and my house payments are going okay. I'm fine. And it's really hard to convince them that you need God in your life. Why do I need God? I'm doing fine. Why do I want to add something else to my life? Yeah. Yep. It's the same thing. We don't prioritize what truly matters in life, and that's our relationship with God. We are a nation that lives on in the physical realm, the temporal, tangible realm.
I think it's kind of an irony of life that it's not until you get older that you realize how very brief life is.
Yeah. Well, that's true. When you get older, right.
You know, what's next?
Right. That is true. It reminded me, I was used to read a lot more history books, but I remember reading a lot of for a while there, I was reading a lot about Russian history. It was just kind of fascinating to me, about the Russian serfs, they were basically slaves. The czar owned everything, and the nobility owned everything. The serfs just had to do everything. And as you're reading, and the serfs, they just lived their life, getting life expectancy wasn't that long. All they wanted to do was die. Because Russia was very Christianized by this time. All they want to do is die, because then I get to go to heaven. This is my hell right now. It's not heaven on earth; it's hell on earth. Now Americans, many of them are heaven on earth, and I just want to have all of that. And dying would be bad. I want to get more and more stuff. So it's kind of flipped how people are seeing things. I even saw this, another way too. I don't fall as much for promotionals that offer things free. I still do fall for some because I like free things. Okay, I know, but why I don't fall for them so much is like, if I had that, what do I do with it? I don't even want it anymore. When I used to play at a children's fundraising golf tournament, we used to play that a long time ago. You could buy tickets to win this. Oh shoot, what do they call them on the water? It's not a ski mobile. It's jet ski. Thank you, jet ski. You could win a free jet ski if you got if you had to buy the ticket first, and then if you got the closest to the pin or something like that. And they're like, "Come on, buy one of the tickets." I said, "What would I do if I had that?" It'd be a nuisance. It'd be a burden to me. I have no use for it, so I didn't want it. Okay, and that's the idea. Sometimes you just have so much stuff. And hopefully that's good, but you're content with it. So now that's not what this proverb is getting at, but you just find that.
We went to an estate sale yesterday.
Came up with nothing, yeah. Like, yeah, exactly.
No, there was no seed there for me to take home for planting for our estate sale. That's what you do. It comes in gathering of these things.
Okay, it's turn around and sell it. Okay, right. So all right. So in the spiritual matter, never be full. Always realize you never are full. You always hunger and thirst for righteousness. Okay, the next one. Like a bird that strays from its nest is a man who strays from his home. Okay, we get this one, don't we? If a bird. Okay, a bird wanders from home, its nest. What's its life like? Sure. Yeah, fluttering about, always, in danger, right, and all that, right, and no survival. Okay, so if a person wanders from the home, now spiritually speaking, obviously physically speaking, literal home, I mean, but if you wander from church, God's house, what's your life probably going to be like?
Well, there's another way to take this one too.
Okay, go ahead.
If it's the adult bird, when you wander from the nest, you're leaving the nest open to attack and things like that.
I hadn't thought about that. Okay, you're right. You're leaving it vulnerable. Right. So you have a responsibility to take care of the home. I hadn't thought about it. That's a different way. Yeah, that's true. Right. And then, but the other ones here's my illustration is, over the years I've seen members who drifted away from church. And you just watch their life. You see it long enough. It does not get better. I mean, I guess sometimes some people do. They get good jobs, and so in the material sense, they do get better. But usually they have home problems, family problems, relational problems, and things just kind of fall apart. They have other issues. They may become alcoholics or something like that. You just watch their life because the one thing that they needed in their life, they intentionally walked away from. And they don't have it anymore. And it's hard because this is when you want to give them the open rebuke thing, but they won't accept it. And you just want to say, I can tell you what you did with your life, but they're not open to hear that at the moment. But it's like if you just get back, things would get back where they should be. It's the old prodigal son thing, too. I mean, your life just falls apart. Okay.
You have this generation of people that still live at home and they're 35 years old.
They need to wander from the nest, right? Kick them out of the nest. That wasn't what the point of this proverb was, but yeah, you got that. Okay, moving on. This is a good one. Perfume and incense bring joy to the heart, and the pleasantness of one's friend springs from his earnest counsel. Now, did yours read that way? The end of it did? The end of it is the enigmatic part of this proverb. The pleasantness of one's friend springs from his earnest counsel. Okay, I'm supposed to look at the text note on this one. Hold on. Literally, the second half says, "and sweetness of his friend from advice of soul." The second half literally says, "sweetness of his friend from advice of soul." The end of it there. So, okay, now I'm going to explain why this is confusing. In the original, why it's really confusing is when it says sweetness of friend from the advice of his soul. It says of his life really. The idea is, who are we talking about in this point? In other words, is it talking about, and I just want to say this is where it's confusing, and he says in the Hebrew you really have trouble figuring this out. The translation here is saying it this way: pleasantness of one's friend springs from his earnest counsel. So in other words, what is good about a good friend, what's so pleasant about a good friend is that he gives you earnest counsel. Right? Is that what you're reading? That's how I'm reading it. Okay, but the actual Hebrew says from advice of his soul, meaning whose soul? Is it, no, let me explain it. Is it his own soul or his friends? So in other words, is it saying that his friend's sweetness, advice, pleasantness is better than him listening to himself? You see? It's a different way of saying it, but it's still saying his friend is good, but the way it's expressed in the Hebrew is it's good because it's actually even better than what I tell myself. You see, I may think I know what I should do. Here he's saying this is a way of translating it, okay? I may think I know what's best for me and all this and that, and I listen to myself, but I should listen to my friend who sees from a different angle or perspective about me that I don't see, and so he sees my blind spots, we'll put it that way, and he offers me advice, counsel that I should listen to instead of just saying, "I don't know what you're talking about. I know better."
It goes back to verse 6.
Yeah, these are related, right? Yeah.
Because the way I see it is, if it's springing from his friend's soul, he's going to obviously be concerned about some behavior or something.
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
recommend, hey,
Yeah.
we're going down this. And
Right. And
so,
go ahead.
is it necessarily saying they're more righteous? Probably not.
Well, yeah, and this isn't about righteousness so much. It's really about, again, you can look at it either way. And so that's what I'm saying. That's the enigmatic aspect to it. But I like this other way, the way he's saying it from the Hebrew. It's like, because, sometimes we are kind of self-confident in some things, not in everything. And it's like, I think I know better. It's like, well, you need to be open to hearing someone else. Because you're going to get it coming up later here, iron sharpens iron in verse 17. It's the same concept. Maybe I should listen to someone else, at least listen to it. A friend of mine, because, again, this is all good. Perfume and incense, it's sweet smelling and it brings joy to the heart. So what he's saying might be better than what I'm telling myself. Because I'm seeing it from the narrow perspective of myself. He sees maybe a better and bigger perspective than what I'm seeing, and so maybe I should listen to him because he might be helping me in a way that I can't help myself. That's how. Does that make sense? I mean, I don't see.
I think I missed it, but maybe I'm the only one. I mean, I understand, like, when I read it, that I can define how good my friend is based on his earnest counsel towards me. Okay, like, you've
Right.
given me advice, you've given me some discipline. I know that this must be a quality friendship. But what you're saying that's coming from the Hebrew, I think
Okay.
I need an example
No.
in order to understand.
No, so here's the point. He's telling me something.
The friend.
Yeah.
Okay.
And obviously it's a good thing, but I'm telling myself, no, that's not good. What I know is better. That's how in the Hebrew he says, it has to do with the last part, the advice of his soul. Who's the his? Is it his own soul or his friend's soul?
So what you're trying to say own counsel or a friend's counsel, the friend's counsel is of more value than what your own
Yeah.
counsel is.
On this case, it might be my friend knows more than I know about this. I think I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, this translation is hard.
I know that's why. Remember the enigmatic aspect to it? That's what he's saying. So that's why he said in the Hebrew, it literally says this way. And I actually can read that part of the Hebrew yet. That part, it does say it. Obviously, he's not going to tell me wrong. Because the key is advice of his soul. It's a construct where it's actually, they put a hyphen to it, so it's like one word. Advice of his soul. You know, we have 3 words there. No, actually, just advice of soul. Doesn't even say his. Advice of soul. Okay, so sweetness of his friend better than advice of his soul. Of soul. All right. I'm just telling you, it's kind of fun because sometimes when you actually see it in the Hebrew, you can see why they get confused about things. And when they're trying to translate it, they're having to interpret. A translation, honestly, is one of the professors at St. Louis Seminary always says that. Yeah, that's why he always said every pastor should never read out of an English translation, always read out of the original. None of us can. But he says because every English translation is at best a commentary. Because someone had to translate and put his own judgment on what he thinks that verse is saying. And so in this translation, the commentators or the translators are saying this is referring to your friend's advice. Whereas in the Hebrew it might be, and it can be that, but it might also be referring to your own advice. It's 2 different people, which is obviously different now. Okay, and that is also what I'm learning a little bit of Hebrew. I'm learning again is the vagueness of Hebrew. It leaves a lot of questions and unanswered. It's very simple in its statement, so it's like, what does he really mean by this? They don't really. It's not like a lawyer talking where you have to cover. You can't leave any loopholes. You got to fill in everything. They leave a lot of loopholes. What?
Maybe that's why they were fighting each other all the time.
Yeah. Could be. It's just that there is such vagueness to it. I won't go on with that anymore. But that was just an interesting part. The next one I think is a really fun one to do. And this was not confusing. This is very obvious. This is one of the rare times when you got three-line proverb. Okay, do not forsake your friend and the friend of your father. That's the first one. And do not go to your brother's house when disaster strikes you. That's the second one. And I don't know, it has a dash here in the English translation, but it's really the third one is, better a neighbor nearby than a brother far away. That's actually a third one. It's not an explanation of the second one. It's three proverbs in one. All right, we can figure this out pretty easily. Better, or do not forsake your friend and the friend of your father. Any of you who grew up in farming communities where 5 generations have been on that same farm, you know what that means. And if you haven't, you still know what it means. Your friend to your father, your grandfather. I mean, your family has been friends of that family for who knows how many generations, ever since they got there, right? You understand that, right? That's what this is getting at. You stick close. You have loyalty to your parents' friends are your friends, and you will be loyal to them just like your parents were. And their parents' friends were their parents' friends, okay? And you'll be loyal to them, and they'll be loyal to you. You get it? It's a great proverb, right? And in a culture like that, agricultural economy like they lived in, how important was that to help each other out that way? Go ahead.
Anybody that's grown up that way knows how important and how much you depend on your neighbor.
Yes, you got a fence down you don't know, your neighbor does. Your neighbor's there to do something and get you notified. Yes, right. Barn burns, or something like that, Yeah, it doesn't be that dramatic. I know, like the fence down, like I said, or you just I need help getting my fields plowed or fields cut.
I can tell you when I was 14 years old, I spent an entire day helping a neighbor rake hay.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, he gave me out $3 or $4. I was so proud of it that I had earned that money.
Uh-huh.
That when I showed it to my dad, he got really angry
Got mad at you, didn't he?
and made me walk
And give it back. Because you don't take money from your neighbor. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I understand. Because he'll help us someday, too, right? Yeah. That's how you do it. Right. That's how you do it, right? So I think we all understand that. I mean, particularly us older ones have been around. I grew up in the city, so it wasn't that way with me with farming and all that. But I understand that concept. I don't know if people are in a constant transition if they understand that, or people in cities like that, because you got friends changing all the time. But so you understand the first line, right? The next one: do not go to your brother's house when disaster strikes you. What is that getting at? It doesn't mean don't. It means don't be a nuisance. Don't be always, oh, I need your help. You know, oh, come on, I can't do anything by myself. I need your help. Can you come help me? And it says your brother, and it really means that. It means your own family. Don't take advantage of your family because they have to help you because they're family. I mean, do things on your own. Grow up sometimes and take matters by your on your own and do that. That's what this is getting at. Okay, it's not saying you can't get help from your family and you shouldn't help each other and family. It's just saying don't be excessive about how you go about that. Here he said, the second line advises against automatically imposing upon family members every time you have an emergency. Okay, you become a nuisance to them. Okay, the third line, now, can you figure out the third line? Better a neighbor nearby than a brother far away. Yeah, because far away help's not going to get there right away. Even though it's a brother who really loves you and cares about you and said, I'll be there to help you. Well, it may take you 2 days to get here in that culture, you know. But a friend right here, yeah, I'll rely on my friend. And that's what it's getting at. So have friends, not just rely on family, have friends that are able to help. And you be that friend that can help right away in the case of emergency because family can't get there right away. Get it? So these three proverbs, I think, are great proverbs. And I think we all understand those. And we understand the need of ready availability to help when help is needed.
Well, you can just see if you're on Facebook, like a few weeks ago, they had fires in Texas.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, yeah.
There were loads of hay coming from Kansas down to them.
Oh, okay.
Kansas had fires and
Oh, I did hear about it. Yeah, right. Because they lost a lot of cattle down there too. Yeah,
they
okay.
had people from other states bringing supplies.
Yes.
Because it was all farming community. And
Yes.
they all know that the disaster could strike them anytime too.
Yeah, and so it's a broader scope because actually we can get down there in 2 days, okay, and not take months to get down. Yeah, right.
9/11 when nurses and doctors
Oh,
all over the country
yeah, yeah. 9/11 is good too. Right. Yeah. Right. Those kind of things. Right. So you see how this proverb applies, and this is just brotherly love that God calls us all to do. And I mean, obviously, as Christians, we should definitely be doing this, but even non-Christians understand this part, this proverb. Okay, be wise, my son, and bring joy to my heart, then I can answer anyone who treats me with contempt. This is a great proverb. Okay, I'll put it in modern terms. Don't embarrass me, son. When you're out there, you have my name, don't embarrass me, because I don't want to have to answer to you, about you. I don't have to answer for you or about you. So do our name proud. You get it? That's what he's getting at. You have our family name, and if you act up, I have to answer. And who looks bad then? I look bad because I look like I didn't know how to raise you. So do me proud. Get it? And now it's not being because you're so egotistical. It's really like I said, you recognize you have a responsibility to this family, and you do the family right. Okay, is really what's getting at too. But that's what it's literally saying. Don't make me ashamed of you and have to answer to you to other people because that's embarrassing. Okay, so I thought it was fun. Okay, the prudent sees danger and takes refuge, but the simple keep going and suffer for it. All right. Okay, what is this getting at? A prudent is a person who can see. Yeah. Because the prudent person means he can see down the line, right? He sees the consequences of doing certain things or actions. And so he will do what? He sees danger in certain things, so he'll take refuge. Whereas the simple, It doesn't, simple in this case, remember, it doesn't mean just a fool, just a stubborn, resisting, I'll do my own thing. Simple is just a stupid person in this case, ignorant, just doesn't know, and he just goes off oblivious and runs into danger. Okay, so become wise. And in everything you do in life, how wise it is and advantageous to you to think ahead. See how these things result. You know, one of the apologetic Christian guys, he always says, ideas have consequences. Okay? Understand what those consequences are before you pursue your idea. If the consequence is good, then pursue it. If it's not, then don't. Luther was always that same way, too, in his theology. You always take it to his logical conclusion. Where will this go? If I think this way, believe this way, where will this end up? Will it end up where I'm still on the straight and narrow path, or have I veered off somehow into false doctrine? That's what's so important about this. Okay? You know, that is my illustration, personal illustration on this one. You guys, Shannon went out. Okay, you guys all know this. Where's the gate to block to stop the highway? So for traffic heading out west. Yeah, where's the gate? Yeah, what city? Isn't it? Yeah, and Hayes, right? Okay, right. After that, right, there isn't really. Right, well, there might be, I guess, but you know what I'm talking about? Because remember, there's times when they'll actually put on the on-ramp, they'll put a gate there, right? The interstate's closed because of a blizzard. I didn't fill in all the details. I was just hoping they would help me out. Okay,
because of bad guys.
No, because of a blizzard, the interstate's closed. But and the prudent person will say, "Oh, it's closed. I will get a hotel room." The simple will do what? Go around the gate, and what will happen?
They'll get to
and they'll die because no, this literally happened. They'll die because no one's patrolling the highway now. That's what the gate closed means. There's no snow plows. There's no police there. Go off the road. You're stuck. And if you don't know how to survive in sub-zero temperatures, or you will die. Because it may be several days, probably not, but potentially. Because I remember one time when we were in college, some Air Force Academy students did that. They ran around the thing. They had to get to the Air Force, and they died because they went off the road and they were stuck there, and they couldn't make it. Yeah, they froze to death. So be prudent. Don't be stupid and say, like the train, getting around the train thing, I can get by there fast enough before the train gets there, and, something like that. Just don't do that kind of stupid stuff, okay? That's what this is getting at. Okay, next one we'll do real fast because we've done it before. Take the garment of one who puts up security for a stranger, hold it in pledge if he does it for a wayward woman. Wayward woman being, is just the one who's wandering around like a prostitute or adulterous woman. But what is this really getting at again? We've done this so many times. Don't get involved in a business deal or any sort of thing with someone who can't be trusted because they're fly by night. They're a stranger. A stranger means someone who's just coming, passing through. They have this great deal for you. Give me the money, and I'll invest it for you, and they're gone. Right? So you have to hold them security for somehow security for them. All right, but the next one, I want to do the next one, then we'll be done. Oh, the course on wife's next week, but okay, the next one. If a man loudly blesses his neighbor early in the morning, it'll be taken as a curse. Right, yeah, right. If you're not a morning person, you don't want that morning person coming into your house. Yeah. Good morning, sunshine. Oh, it's a beautiful day and all that, and just singing and dancing, and you're just, I don't want to get up, man. You don't want to be that. Okay, but now that's the funny part. The serious part is when someone is going through a hard time. Don't say, "Oh, everything will be great. Oh, God loves you. Everything's going to be wonderful." Don't do that. Don't do that. People do that. It could be in mourning. Yeah, mourning. So you got to know how to deal with people. And if they're still in mourning, don't think, oh, everything's great, right? You're doing fine, like for our family, and when Laura and Anthony, same thing. How long does it take for a person to come through the grieving process? You don't know. So you don't just, you have to find out. You have to find out where they are. You don't just say, hey, you're over it, aren't you now? Everything's great. You're doing fine, right? You never be that stupid. Never be that stupid. People are that stupid, okay? Because they are over it, and so they think you should be over it. No, you can't tell someone this is the process, these are the steps, and this is the timeline of getting over it. No, you let them tell you where they are in that process. So that's why this is a great proverb, to be sensitive to other people and recognize every person's different, everyone deals with it differently. And there's not a wrong, well, it can become wrong, but usually it's not. So don't treat them as if they're doing it wrong because they're not progressing through it like you think they should. All right? So be cheerful and all that. Nah, maybe not. Maybe not right away. Okay? Just, you know what I'm saying? So just kind of let them, you feel them out. Let them know so you know where they are in this process. Okay? That's what this get in. All right, that's all. We'll quit now. It's 10:30 and 5 seconds. Okay, we went 5 seconds over. All right, so quarrelsome wife next time. This is another one. Although this one does a little bit more, so we will say a little bit more on this one because it's 2 verses, this next one. It has a little other aspect to it. Okay, so anything else? Lenten service this week? Nothing else? This kind of Sunday, just kind of nothing going on Sunday after church or anything. All right, let's close with prayer. Most blessed Lord, we are again so grateful for your love for us and the opportunity that you give us to study your word. We thank you for the wisdom you give us in your word. We pray that you'll help us to be very mindful of your word and who we are in Christ and who we need to be and what we need to do as your people. That as we interact with other people, we may be sensitive to who they are and their sensitivities, that we may correct them in the proper way and in truth and in love, and that we may comfort them and counsel them as best we can, being guided by your Spirit to do that which is best. Help us and always have the proper attitude towards others, that all we do will be done in love for them. Through Jesus, we ask this. Amen.